It's March and I am doubling down on the reading challenges, so that means an extra large pile of possibilities. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome to my reading life and welcome to my March TBR, or really this is just a pile of possibilities. I love March. It contains two of my favorite reading challenges of the year, Middle Grade March and March Mystery Madness. And so this month is going to be full of both middle grade books and mysteries, and then a few outliers as well. Grab yourself a warm cup of something and let us get into my March pile of possibilities. Because I have so many books here, I'm not really sure the best way to go through and show you all the books on my pile of possibilities for March, but I think what I'm going to do is start with my own personal reading goals for the month, any buddy reads that I am doing, group reads, and then I will get into the specifics of what I am reading for Middle Grade March and for March Mystery Madness. I'm going to start off by sharing the buddy reads and group reads that I am doing for March. And first up is the book we chose for the Cozy Reader Book Club for March, and that is Swallows and Amazons by Arthur Ransom. This is a middle grade adventure story. I think you could also call it a children's classic, and I am so excited to read this. In this, we follow, I believe, two groups of children, the Swallows and the Amazons. So we get the lovable Walker family, the camp on Wildcat Island, the able-bodied catboat Swallow, and the two intrepid Amazons, Nancy and Peggy Blackett. And this is the beginning of a series. I'm not sure how many books are in the Swallows and Amazons series, but I'm very excited to read this first one. And yes, so I am hoping this is going to be a fantastic read. Next up, for my Gilded Age buddy read group, we are going to be reading Dodsworth by Sinclair Lewis. And in this, I believe we follow an older married couple who go off to Europe to sort of hang with the high society of, European society. And that's really about all that I know about it, but I am excited to give it a try. I am waiting. My copy is en route to me as we speak, and I'm hoping it's going to show up sometime this week. So yes, looking forward to that. I've never read Sinclair Lewis before, so if any of you have any insight into him, I would love to chat about that in the comments. And then the next book that I have for a group read is, of course, my Emma M. Lyon book for this month for my Emma M. Lyon 2025 read along. And we are reading volume 3 in March, and so excited to continue my reread of the Emma M. Lyon series and to see all that Emma gets up with in this current volume. It's not too late to join us. If you would like to join the Emma M. Lyon read along, the information is in the description box below. You can join my Discord group and also check out the announcement video. I have live videos on the last Friday of every month to wrap up our read of each volume each month, and I would love to have you join us. And I have a few personal monthly challenges that I have given myself for this year. And one of those is that I want to read a mystery, a nonfiction, a classic, and a book off of my Kindle every month. And so there's going to be some crossover in this video because I have books that are sort of doing double, triple duty depending on what the situation is. So let us just go through these. First off, for the mystery for this month, well, I kind of have my pick. And as we go through the books for March Mystery Madness, I think pretty much any of them I could slot into that mystery category. So I'm not really going to worry about that one too much. I know I will hit my goal for March since it's March Mystery Madness. Now for my nonfiction book, I am still reading Jane Austen's Bookshelf, which I probably won't finish until March. It's just, I'm really taking my time with it and enjoying it and highlighting things in my Kindle. It's just a really lovely read, but it's just a bit on the slower side because it's nonfiction and I really want to take in all of the information in it. And then the second nonfiction book that I would like to finish in March, if possible, or at least make some good progress in, is Bookworms, which I put on my TBR in January, and I have started it, as you can see, but I haven't gotten too far. I'm on page 52, and there are 300 and some odd pages, so I would like to at least at least make more progress in this, if not finish it. So one of those 2 books is going to be my nonfiction pick for March. And then for my classic for March, I could either use Swallows and Amazons, because I do believe this is a classic children's book, or I could use Dodsworth by Sinclair Lewis. I also think I have maybe 1 or 2 more books in my stacks here that could count as a classic. So again, I feel like that category is going to be well covered for the month of March, and I will just pick one of them at random to count for that category. And then my last category of goals for each month is to read a book off of my Kindle. Originally, I decided I was either going to read Moon Over Manifest by Claire Vanderpool, or I have The Old Fox Deceived by Martha Grimes. But I actually already started The Old Fox Deceived by Martha Grimes. I might finish that before February is up, and so if that is the case, then I'm going to read Moon Over Manifest. I also checked out one other middle grade book that I have on my Kindle that my library had as well, because sometimes I just want to read the physical copy and not the Kindle copy, and that is Seraphina and the Black Cloak. This is by Robert Beatty, and I've had this on my Kindle. I have had both of these middle grade books on my Kindle for so long. If you've read both of these, which one of these should I prioritize? I'm kind of leaning towards Moon Over Manifest, but let me know what you guys think. A few more of my own personal goals, and then we're going to get into the details for middle grade March and March Mystery Madness. First up, of course, I want to be reading books off of my 25 in 2025. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link that video in the cards and in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. But these are 25 books that have been on my shelves for a very long time that I really want to either read or unhaul this year. And I actually pulled 4 books off of my 25 in 2025, 2 middle grade and 2 mysteries. And I figure if I get through 2 of these this month, that would be fantastic. So maybe 1 middle grade and 1 mystery, or both the middle grades or both the mysteries. Who knows what kind of mood I'm going to be in. So first is Roald Dahl's The BFG, and this is a middle grade book. I've actually seen the movie of The BFG, but I haven't read the book, and I'm just curious to see kind of what it's like. I thought the movie was really charming, and I love Roald Dahl, so this is one of his I have not read yet. And then the other one, which I'm a little more hesitant about, is The Phoenix and the Carpet by E. Nesbit. I am hit or miss with loving E. Nesbit. I really enjoyed The Railway Children, but I did not like 5 Children and It. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this one, especially because this is in the 5 Children and It world. I believe this might be the sequel. Yes, it is the sequel. So not sure, but I'll give it a go, and then maybe it just needs to be an unhaul if I'm not enjoying it. And then the 2 mysteries I pulled off of my 25 in 2025 are first this Maigret novel, Maigret and the Tavern by the Seine by Georges Simenon. And I have never read a Maigret novel before, but I have seen the TV adaptation with Rowan Atkinson, which I cannot recommend enough. I wish there were more of those episodes. It was fantastic, but I really want to read Maigret, and I have a couple other Simenon books on my shelf, so hoping that I'll have a chance to give this a try this month. And then the last book I pulled off my 25 in 2025 to possibly read in March is English Country House Murders. This is a collection of short stories about murders in English country houses, and this is edited by Thomas Godfrey. I have had this on my shelf for so very long, and I'm going to read it this year, and I hope I can at least start it in March, even if I don't get through all the short stories. But yes, this is definitely probably the highest priority of the 4 books I pulled off of my 25 in 2025. And then next I have 2 additional books that I want to read in March. First is a NetGalley book that I want to read because it's coming out in April, and it's a middle grade, so perfect timing, and that is Candle Island by Lauren Wolk. And this is about a young girl named Lucretia. She and her mother have come to Candle Island, which I believe is off the coast of Maine. Her father has been killed in a car accident. Her mother is an artist who's a bit reclusive, and they have come to sort of escape the journalists that have been hounding her. And Lucretia plans to spend the summer painting and exploring the island, and then I think there are some mysteries that she gets involved in. So I think there's a mysterious young boy that she meets, and there's a mysterious room in the house that they're staying in, and yes, so I am definitely looking forward to that. I've actually never read a Lauren Wolk book before, though I have Wolf Hollow, I believe, on my TBR shelf, so I should get to that too. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to this. It sounds wonderful. And then lastly, of course, I have to read my Agatha Christie book for March, and that book is They Do It With Mirrors. This is a Miss Marple book. And in this one, it says Miss Marple senses danger when she visits a friend living in Stonygates, a rehabilitation center. Her fears are confirmed when someone shoots at the administrator. Although he is not injured, a mysterious visitor is less fortunate, shot dead simultaneously in another part of the building. Pure coincidence? Miss Marple thinks not, and must use all her cunning to solve the riddle of the stranger's visit and his murder. So, very much looking forward to spending some time with Miss Marple in March. So much alliteration going on this month. I'm loving it. Middle grade March, March Mystery Madness, Miss Marple March. How many other M words can I use to describe my reading life in March? We shall see. And now let us get into the March reading challenges and the books that I have picked for each of them. And let us start off with Middle Grade March. If you aren't familiar with Middle Grade March, it is a read-along hosted by Krista from Books and Jams, Katie from Life Between Words, and Amanda at On the Middle Shelf. And it is such a fun read-along. I've been doing it now. I think this is maybe my 5th year participating, but I think this is the 10th year, 9th year, 11th. I don't know how long they've been doing Middle Grade March, but it has been going on for a while. So it is really fun. There's always a group read and there are prompts, but really to participate, all you need to do is read a middle grade book. If you aren't sure what a middle grade book is, it is generally thought of as books that are for children between the ages of 9 and 12. Give or take a year or two on either side, just depending both on the child and the book. But any book that kind of fits into that category is a qualifying book for Middle Grade March. This year, they're going to be reading 2 books for the group reads for the month. One is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and the other one is Moon Garden, whose author's name I have forgotten, but I will have a picture of it here and put it on the screen for you. I'm not sure that I'm going to read the group reads. I'm not going to read Moon Garden, but I might listen to an audiobook of The Secret Garden if I have a chance. I've already read it, so it would be a reread for me, but because I have so many other books I want to read and some other rereads that I want to get to this month, I'm not sure that that one is going to happen, so not a high priority, but we will see how the month goes. And then there are 5 prompts for Middle Grade March this year. And I have managed to fit my books that I picked into one of the 5 categories. The first prompt for Middle Grade March is to read a book by an author with 3 names. And for that, I am going to read These Happy Golden Years by Laura Ingalls Wilder. This is actually a new purchase for me. This is the one book that I did not have in the Little House series. So I purchased that, and because my goal is to read books that I've purchased in the month after I purchased them, this is definitely on my TBR, and I'm going to listen to the audiobook again because I love them. They are so wonderful, and I'm excited to spend more time with Laura and the Ingalls family in These Happy Golden Years. The next prompt is to read a book with flowers on the cover, and for this I'm actually going to reread a book I read for the first time last Middle Grade March, and I am actually buddy reading this one. I didn't mention that at the beginning when I was talking about my other buddy reads, but I'm reading it with my friend Sabine. We met over on Instagram, and the book we are reading for March is Heidi by Joanna Spyri. I mean, look at that beautiful cover with all the beautiful pink flowers on it. Oh, I just love it. I'm so excited to be back in Heidi's world. I actually listened to the audiobook last March, so I am super excited to actually read the physical book this year, and I cannot wait to dive back in and spend more time with Heidi. The next prompt for Middle Grade March is to read a book in a series. It can be the first book in a series, it can be a book in a series you've already started. Doesn't really matter, but for this I decided to use a book that's actually going to cross over. It's going to hit both Middle Grade March and March Mystery Madness, and that is the first book in the Wells and Wong mystery series, which is Murder is Bad Manners by Robin Stevens. And I actually have the book in the series, I think it's book 4 or book 5. It's a Christmas mystery, and when I talked about it during the Christmas season, everyone said I should start at the beginning. So I found this copy on Thrift Books, and this is book 1. So in this one, we meet Hazel Wong and Daisy Wells. They set up their own secret detective agency at their boarding school, but they struggle to find any exciting mysteries to investigate. Then Hazel discovers Miss Bell lying dead on the gym floor. Before Hazel can tell anyone what she's seen, the body mysteriously disappears, seemingly without a trace. Now Hazel and Daisy not only have a murder to solve, they have to prove a murder happened in the first place. So yes, there's like a map of their boarding school in here. I am so excited to finally get to this little middle grade mystery series, and I have very high hopes for it. And then next up, the prompt is to read a book with travel in it. It can be any kind of travel, space travel, time travel, travel to, I don't know, another city, or just, a road trip or what have you. For this, I am reading actually a book I gave my son for Christmas. He read it, he loved it, and now I'm going to read it, and that is Impossible Creatures by Katherine Rundell. And in this, we follow a young boy. Christopher rescues a drowning baby griffin from a hidden lake, and that would change his life forever. It's the day he learned about the archipelago, a cluster of unmapped islands where magical creatures of every kind have thrived for thousands of years until now. And it's the day he met Mal, a girl on the run in desperate need of his help. And so they embark on a wild adventure, racing from island to island, searching for someone who can help explain why the magic is fading and why magical creatures are suddenly dying. Yes, so I am super excited to read this and looking forward to chatting about it with my son as I go along. So yes, cannot wait to get to this one. And the next prompt for middle grade March is to read a book written in the 1900s. And while I have a number of books already on my list that would definitely qualify as books written in the 1900s, and while I have a number of books from my stack that I've already talked about that would qualify, I decided to pull a book off of my shelf that was a favorite from my childhood that I've been wanting to reread for so long, and that is Up a Road Slowly by Irene Hunt. I adored this book as a child. I still have the copy that was my mom's that I read, but it is completely falling apart. The cover is detached. It's in such delicate condition that a while ago I bought myself this newer version of it. And in this, we follow Julie. This is a coming of age story with all of the kinds of ups and downs that go along with coming of age. And I am very excited to get back to this one and sort of revisit how much I love this as a child, and hoping I still love it just as much today. I have two more middle grade books that I am hoping to get to in March. And the first one is one that I just at the last minute decided I wanted to read because I was watching Heather from Water Bear Reads. She was doing her 2024 favorite book wrap up, and she mentioned this book, and I just was so intrigued. I've never heard of it, and I'm not going to really read anything about it. I'm just going to go into it blind. And that is Scary Stories for Young Foxes. And this is by Christian McKay Heidecker. Oh, this could also count for the author with 3 names. But she raved about this book, and it just sounded very intriguing. So I'm hoping I will get to this one. My library had a copy. I was very excited. So yes. If anyone's read this, let me know if you loved it too, because Heather just gushed about it. And then last but certainly not least, I am a member of Kate Howe's Patreon, and for her Patreon for March, the group read this month is going to be Bee and the New Deal Horse. This is by L.M. Eliot, and Kate read this last year and just raved about it. So I am very, very excited to get to this one. So yes, in this one we follow Bee. She wakes up to Daddy's note in a hayloft where he abandoned her with her little sister after the stock market crash took everything. Daddy's job, their home, Mama's life. How is Bee supposed to convince the imposing Mrs. Scott to take in 2 stray children? Mrs. Scott's money and Virginia farm are drying up in a drought, and the Great Depression too. She might have to sell her beautiful horses, starting with a dangerous chestnut that injures her stable hand shortly after Bee arrives. But wrestling with her own hurts and fears, Bee understands the chestnut's skittish distrust. She sees hope in the powerful jumper. If he can conquer at horse shows, they might save the farm, and maybe Bee can even win a place in Mrs. Scott's heart. So yes, I am very excited to read Bee and the New Deal Horse. I think I have already talked about quite a few of the books that I'm going to be reading for March Mystery Madness this month. And if you don't know March Mystery Madness, it is a readathon during March to read mystery novels. And I will have the information for this year's challenge linked in the description box below. You can check out, there are quite a few hosts for March Mystery Madness. So I will link one of their videos videos, and then from there they have all of the other videos linked in their description box, so you can go and check out the rest of the hosts as well. This is the 10th year of March Mystery Madness, and so they are doing a read through the decades challenge for this year, where you can either do things like read a number of books from one single decade, or you could read one book from 10 different decades. There are a few different pathways you can take, but you can get all of that information from the announcement video. I am just going to be reading mysteries. I am not going to be following the read through the decades challenge, just because I already have a lot on my plate to read this month, and that just seemed like taking it a little bit over the top for me. But I am excited to read some mysteries, and I have a couple more mysteries to share with you. I know I've already talked about a number of mysteries for March Mystery Madness, but let us get into the next couple of books that I am also hoping to get to in March. First is, as I have mentioned, I want to read all of the Mrs. Polifax books in 2025. Well, finish up all of the Mrs. Polifax books that I haven't yet read in 2025. And this is book five, I believe, which is Mrs. Polifax on Safari. And obviously we're going to follow Mrs. Polifax on Safari. Sounds like she's going to Zambia. So that sounds like it'll be really fascinating. Anyway, very excited. Love Mrs. Polifax. Can't wait to read more of her. And then the last book, technically it's 3 books in one, that I'm going to read for March Mystery Madness is Her Royal Spyness by Rhys Bowen. And this is a royal threesome, the first 3 books in the Her Royal Spyness series, which is Her Royal Spyness, A Royal Pain, and Royal Flush. I don't know if I'll get to all 3 of the books in March. I mean, we will see. This is a lot, 700 pages worth of mysteries, though I have a feeling they'll probably read pretty quickly, but I am going to read Her Royal Spyness. So for sure, I will read book 1 in this book, and then hopefully I'll just continue along until I finish all 3. I just don't know if I'll get through them all in March. If not, I will carry them over into April, and I'm sure I can read them all 3 by the end of April. So very, very excited to finally start this series. So many of you have told me you love it, and I think I'm gonna love it too. Then I have one random book that is a bit of an outlier, and this, because March is the month of St. Patrick's Day, and I know there is an Irish read-along, I believe, going on this month. I'm not sure who the hosts of that are, but if I can find that, I will link it in the description box below. But I thought I would put at least one book by an Irish author on my pile of possibilities for March, and so I chose Maeve Binchy's Victoria Line, A Central Line, and this is a collection of short stories, and yes, I think it's all about people who travel on London's tube every year. So this is more about London life, not necessarily about Irish life, but I want to read more Maeve Binchy. This was on my shelf. It's relatively short. It's short stories, so I thought it might be doable for March when I have so many books on my pile of possibilities. It's a little out of hand. So anyway, this is an Irish author, so it does count for the Irish read-along if I get to it. We shall see. And that wraps up my March pile of possibilities for middle grade March, March Mystery Madness, the Irish read-along, all the March reading. I have a lot of books on my pile of possibilities, you guys. I'm sure I won't get to all of them, but that's how I roll. I'd love to chat with you in the comments. Are you participating in middle grade March, March Mystery Madness, the Irish read-along, any other challenges going on that I haven't mentioned? Are you just going to read whatever you want? Let's chat all things March reading in the comments. And have you read any of the books that I talked about today? Is there anything here that you're thinking to yourself, Jen, you absolutely must read that book this month? Please let me know that as well. I always take that into consideration when I am picking up books to read. And if you don't have anything that you want to add in the comments, but you'd like to let me know that you were here, because comments really do help my channel, why don't you leave something green in the comments for March? So a shamrock, a green heart, anything else green, a green book, whatever green suits your fancy. I don't know. Is there a little leprechaun emoji? I don't even know. But leave one of those emojis in the comments just to let me know that you were here. I really do love seeing that you made it this far in the video and that you were here. That is so, so lovely. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, I would love to have you join my bookish community. And as always, I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye!